It's okay to still have love for somebody that you once cared for the most. Many of you are in situations where you're trying to let go of a person and you find yourself still being in love with them or having a lot of love for them, but at the same time you're dealing with not being able to have them, whether that's them deciding to walk away, whether they're not interested, or whether you finally made a decision to let go. Now, by the end of this video, my hope is that you'll, one, become more comfortable in understanding that you have that love and being willing to just feel those feelings, but also to create a boundary so that you stop reaching out to the people that are uninterested in you but still having that love for them. Because I feel like a lot of y'all are eager to let go of your love and eager to stop caring when that shouldn't really be the goal. Now, for myself, my own example, I have love for pretty much everybody that has come into my life, everybody that has done me dirty, everybody who said one thing then did the complete other. And that was a hard place for me to get to. That was genuinely a place that I had to work on my own heart in order to get to, where I let go of resentment, where I wasn't mad at people. And my point I'm trying to make in that is that you could still have love for people while understanding they aren't for you in your life. So there are people from my past, both good and bad, both people who I'm good with now and people who I will not ever reach out to again in my life because it just doesn't make sense. But I have love for each and every one of them. Now, when it came to finding that love and it came to understanding they aren't for me, sometimes you have to look at people's morals, values, who they are as a person, how they treat you, and you have to understand, like, is this a person that is ideally for me when it comes to a friendship, when it comes to a relationship? But in that same breath, that doesn't mean that you don't still have love for them. That doesn't mean that you still don't wish them the best. That doesn't mean that you still don't, let's just say, you could still pray for them. You could still have care for them. You could still just wish them well. Now, some of y'all, I don't want y'all to hear that and be like, oh, I could go check in with this person. Oh, I could reach out to this person. Because again, you have to understand your why. A lot of y'all, one, don't fully understand why you're letting go of certain situations and why you need to let go of certain people, because you're only noticing the good moments. You're only seeing who they were, how they made you feel, and you're allowing that to emotionally blind you to the truth and reality of the situation, at the fact that maybe they were disrespectful, maybe they didn't know how to communicate, maybe they loved you conditionally, maybe they made you feel like you were under their control and you constantly had to people please them, you constantly had to meet their expectations and their standards, they constantly lowered your self-esteem, whatever it might have been. Or maybe they just decided to reject you and just didn't see your value and didn't care to be in your life. But a lot of y'all are like, oh, I still have love for them, and so I'm going to try and convince them, and because I have this love for them, I can't let them go. And it's like, no, a lot of y'all mistake attachment for love. And real quick, if you're personally going through a season right now in your life where you're struggling to let somebody go, even though you still have love for them, and you're struggling with setting boundaries, not reaching out to them, be sure to check out my one-on-one coaching down below in the description, as it might be something that's for you. You think that because you emotionally feel some type of way for somebody, and that you feel this heavy amount of emotions and this sense of I can't forget about them or I can't move on from them, you think that's love. But in reality, a lot of y'all don't love a person, or you're not in love with a person. You're just simply attached to them. They made you feel some type of way. They brought you some type of feeling. And so you're chasing after the feeling that they was able to provide to you, whether that was a sense of validation, whether that was their attention, whether that was their comfort, whether that was how they made you feel, the version of yourself that they allowed you to be, whether they allowed you to be the true, authentic you. You're chasing after that. And I think love is something that you never lose for a person, or shouldn't lose for a person. I shouldn't lose love for a person solely because they rejected me. I shouldn't lose love for a person because they didn't meet my expectations or my standards, or things didn't work out how I wanted them to work out. My love isn't conditionally based, where it's like you have to be this person in order to receive my love. Now, again, love doesn't always have to be in the form of communication. Sometimes it just means wishing people the best. Again, I had people in my life who at one point we did not talk. At one point it did not align. And it's never that I didn't care for them or had resentment towards them. Some of these people, it was like, we just understood where we were, and it was like, you're not best for me to be in contact with because I'm in the process of emotionally letting you go. Or, we just aren't good for each other in this season of our lives. Or we just aren't interested in each other, and our values and our morals and our maturity just don't align to where it makes sense for us to be in each other's lives. And so sometimes creating that boundary, sometimes understanding why you're letting a person go, sometimes understanding why you're creating distance with certain people isn't out of, again, resentment. It's just more so out of understanding of the impact of who they are and where you are has an effect on you. And so there's many people from my past, or not many, but there's people I can name from my past where we weren't on good terms for a long time, or we weren't talking and communicating. But in that time, I still had love for them. I was still wishing them the best. I still, hope they were doing well and wanted them to be growing and doing well in life. But I just understood, like, hey, we aren't for each other in the season of our lives. And now with some of those people I'm actually cool with now, where I was able to, let's just say, follow them back on Instagram or be able to reach out and not emotionally reinvest myself into that situation, or emotionally start finding a sense of hope and holding on and things like that. Then there's other people where I will never reach out to them again because it doesn't make sense, or we've just been through so much. But again, that doesn't mean I don't still have love for that person. But I also understand my why as to why I can't reach out, as to why I don't show that love through communication or physically or anything like that, because I understand that, hey, this person brings this, and this to my life, or we just don't simply align and we're not, meant for each other, essentially. But again, for a lot of y'all are so emotionally invested into the good moments that you think like, oh, I can't move on from them, or oh, I have to express this love, or that loving them is a bad thing. Again, when people have taken you through certain experiences, when people have played a certain role in your life and in your journey and in your story and your growth, like, you'll always remember them. You'll always have a sense of like a soft spot for them, to like appreciate them for the role that they did serve. And again, I don't think you should try to let go of that. I don't think you should try and get rid of that. I think you should just understand like why you're letting certain people go. How did other people show up in your life? Whether it was disrespect, whether it was, again, make you feel like you had to people please, whether they were controlling of you, like just understanding like what was the impact other people had on me. And does it make sense for me to be in contact with this person? Does that put me in a place of anxiety? Does that put me in a place of emotionally holding myself back? Does that put me in a place of getting all reattached all over again? Do I need to step aside and work on myself for a season? Or does this person consistently be up and down with their feelings and how they feel about me, and it's never clear, and they constantly go back on their words? Like, sometimes you just gotta understand, like, and just see people and be like, this person isn't for me, but that doesn't mean I can't still have love for them. That doesn't mean I can't still care about them. That doesn't mean I can't still wish them the best. And I feel like when you come at it from that perspective, instead of like trying to fight your emotions and your feelings of like hating them, forgetting about them, acting like things never happened, then that's when you're actually able to let go a lot more, because you're not clinging on to resentment. You're not clinging on to the fact that they didn't choose you. You're not clinging on to the fact that they rejected you. You're not clinging on to the fact that they decided to let you go and didn't see your value and didn't see your worth. And it's like, my love for that person, my care for that person wasn't based upon those things. I didn't need them to choose me in order for me to still like just have love. I think there's different levels to love, where it's like love for a relationship and then love for an acquaintance, whatever. Like, so your love might diminish slightly for them as to how much you care about them, but it's like you still wish them the best in the end. But ultimately, I think when it comes to just like your love for people that you can't have, like, just find, you have to find acceptance in that. And many of you are just so hurt by the fact that you weren't chosen by the person. And I've been there, where it's like, I tried so hard, yet it still wasn't enough. Or I invested so much energy and time, but it still wasn't enough. And we were more so having a hard time accepting the fact that they didn't choose us, and that they rejected us, and that they let us go, and that it seems like, we never meant anything, or that we never mattered. And, just the feeling of that rejection essentially is like, makes us so eager to have resentment, or, want to forget about them so quick. And it's like, you could still, again, have love for a person, but that doesn't mean you need to reach out to them. That doesn't mean that you need to still be in contact with them. That doesn't mean that you still need to be following them. That doesn't mean that you still need to be checking in on them. Like, again, you can have love for a person from a distance. Sometimes love from a distance is the best type of love, because, again, it allows you to protect your peace. It allows you to not deal with people who are for you, even if you still care for them. And again, I don't think you should be trying to get to a place where you don't care, but more so where you just appreciate the fact that they were in your life. A lot of my resentment for people went away when I realized like the role that God was using them to play in my own life in order to bring me closer to God, but also to just bring me into a better version of myself. And just also just like almost finding an appreciation for the fact that they came into my life and that they showed me different things, that they taught me different things about myself, and that they allowed me to just, go through that experience with them. And from that experience, it allowed me to be who I am today. But it's like I couldn't hate them for that. I more so found appreciation for them because it was like, dang, without you, I wouldn't be this version of myself. And so when you can change your perspective towards those people, you can again understand, hey, you aren't for me, but I still have love and appreciation for you and what we did have in our life, appreciating the good moments, but not allowing the good moments to blind you to the bad moments of like why you are letting it go and why they're no longer in your life, even if you do still feel some type of care and love for them. But I love and appreciate you guys as always. Be sure to check out my Let It Go to Grow coaching down below in the description, as well as the Let It Go to Grow journal if you haven't already. And I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Peace.